Hello all, welcome to the third issue of Boldcastmtg in English. The first two issues were about my participation on the Epic Season 2, and today's issue we are going to talk about another special tournament for me, another international tournament for me, and we are talking about, of course, the fourth Chaos Orc Fest, Romagna's Calling, aka the Italian Premodern Nationals. That tournament was very high on my priorities list since the mid-late 2025 because I wanted to travel also to Spain to visit more people that I have had the pleasure to know during that last year, and people that I'm not so used to see as I am with the rest of the Spanish crew. I do tend to travel as much as I can. That is, in fact, not so much in Spain to get along, play, and visit another communities besides the LCOS, my own community. And I had decided that for 2026 I wanted to make one or two international travels, sorry, and one of them very high on my priorities was visiting Italy. And it was visiting Italy for several reasons. One of them being that I knew that Valerio was gonna be there, a former Epic Season 2 competitor. I knew that Danny de Roeg would be there, another fellow Epic competitor. I knew that Tecnoliga was gonna be there. They are everywhere, and it's always nice to share some amount of time with all that amazing people. Nacho, Sete, Richie, and all the rest that could be traveling. Another good reason to travel to Italy was that in February the 5th, it was my anniversary with Irene, my wife. We were making 11 years together, and she is still by my side, so I can do nothing more than thank her for being so awesome and supporting me in everything I do, as I support her in everything she does. And she has always been a lover for the Italian culture, Italian cuisine, Italian architecture, everything Italian related, except, and that's luck for me, the Italian guys. Uh, Nowadays, she still prefers an Spanish nerd than a handsome, good-looking Italian guy. So, thank you, Irene, for being there for these 11 years and all the years that are gonna come. So, with all that things in mind, I plan to travel where I can get 1 or 2 days being a normal couple doing tourist things in Bologna, and 1 day being the nerd that I am and being in Lugo playing some Premodern. The travel began by Friday noon, getting our plane to get to Bologna, and we spent all the Friday noon and afternoon visiting all the churches and monuments and so on, museums that Bologna had to offer to us. Also tasting some street pizza that was in fact delicious, and some cannoli with cream and with hazelnut cream that were also amazing. Eating in Italy is such a really good thing. You may think that Italy and Spain are really close one to the other, and the culture or the cuisine or whatever would be almost the same, but that's not true. We are very similar in some aspects, but we are really, really far away in some others. And cuisine is one of them. They are the pasta creators, so they are the pizza creators. We had to taste both of them, and we began with pizza because we could eat them pizza while we were walking to the center of the city to visit all the things I have said before, and also ended up the visit watching the two towers. And no, we did not travel to any Rings of Power recording set or traveled in time, space, and universes beyond, pun intended, to get to the Middle Earth. In Bologna, there are, two towers, and there are not Barad-dûr and Isengard, that are a little inclined, not as much as the Pisa one, but I think they are also a little inclined, and it's one of the identities of the city. So we spent, as I said, all the afternoon making couple stuffs, being lovers, visiting a strange city, and having the time of our lives. And by the end of the afternoon, we headed to the train station to go to Lugo. That's really confusing for some Spaniards as us because we have already our Lugo in Spain, in Galicia. And every time I said to any of my friends, yeah, I'm going to Lugo that weekend, oh, you are going to Galicia? Oh, no, I'm going to Italy. But you told me that you were going to Lugo. Yeah, but there are more than one Lugo in the world, it seems. And I can now say for truth that there are more than one Lugo in the world. And not all are in Spain. After 40 minutes on the train, on a very comfortable train to be said, we arrived at Lugo, and the first thing we did was head to the Hotel Aladoro, where recommended by Giamma. Many thanks here for the recommendation, the work, and everything you have done that last weekend to register and to be able to book a table to eat dinner later on. And I also decided to heads up to the venue to say hi to everyone that was there and get registered for Saturday in order to have time to not be on a rush, don't get the long wait to get registered, and be able to say hello to people, be calm, take a coffee, take something, watch the vendors and alterators stands before the tournament begins. When I arrived to the venue, the first people I saw was Ale, and I cannot say nothing that kind words for Ale and for the rest of the people I knew, that it's gonna be a constant on that podcast. The people in Lugo treated me as one of them, and I think that's the best thing I can say for someone in case on how they treated me. Being one of us, to me, is the best thing, the best gift they can give me, the best respect sign they can send me, and the best way I can be treated. I got registered, I got my tickets to the raffle, I got my ID, my PIN, and all the welcome pack, and entered the venue to see how Danny was playing the top 4 of the Friday's tournament. The Friday's tournament was a special one. It was Premodern, but it was Premodern with a different ban and restricted list. Almost all of the banned cards were instead restricted. I suppose not the ante ones, but most of the others were restricted. And you can play degenerated things like Jammoth Wheel, Memory Jar, and Necropotence in the same deck. And that was exactly what Danny was playing in his top 4 match of the tournament against an Hermit Druid build. And I get to finally hug him. Also Frank Rofellos, that was also in the venue and getting recovered for the flu. And I could hang with them a little bit and get my Goblin tokens signed. As I think, when I travel, I tend to bring with me some kind of tokens because I do like that the people that I have known, people that have a special place on my pre-modern heart can sign one token to me and I get to collect them, as far as I also collect all kinds of memorabilia, lots of patches here in Spain. We are all in on patches to all the communities, play mats, pins, stickers, tokens, all that kind of stuff. I think that I'm better collecting that what I am better playing. That's not really so hard, but it's a fact. And as far as I get the tokens signed by Frank and by Danny, and also we were chit-chatting a little bit in order to see how the travels were, where they accommodated, also in Aladoro, and all that kind of things. I headed back to the hotel to have dinner with my beloved wife. And yeah, I'm also gonna talk a little bit about what we were eating those days, because I think that if you go to Italy, you have to talk about their food, because this is an essential part of their culture, and this is a really, really good one, at least in my opinion. I ate a ragu pasta. Ragu is what in the rest of the world people would call salsa bolognese, bolognese sauce, but done as it has to be done properly, and with the local ingredients, so it gets it gets to be really, really, really good. I was told that I had to prove it. Sete Vandres from the Tecnoliga told me several times that I had to try it, and if I could have had time, I would have gone with them to the, in his opinion, best ragu place in the zone. But well, I had, I'm not gonna say more important things, but yes, more relevant things to do on Friday. That was to be with my wife. Even though the ragu that I ate was really spectacular. Was really spectacular, was simple, not a lot of ingredients, just the needed ones, in the really good combination and a really good proportion that gave it the perfect taste for a really good pasta plate. I also ate an Angus stick with some oven done potatoes, and it was also really, really, really good and well cooked, and was really tasty. After that, and with a cup of coffee I tend to watch the cards to get really prepared for Saturday because I wanted to Ken Mayer Jr. to sign some of cards from me and from Albert Pajuelo, and I get to leave it all ready for Saturday and went to sleep. We come to Saturday at 7 a.m. and I wake up because I couldn't sleep anymore. And after I took a shower and I get ready to go to the venue, I went to the restaurant of the hotel to take my breakfast. It was, in fact, really early in the morning, at least for European or Italian standards, because the tournament was beginning at 10 a.m. But I was already asleep. I was doing really nothing important, so what can be done except by eating? That's one of the pleasures of our lives, really. I had my breakfast, a really relaxing, good tasting breakfast, and as far as I ended up, I was gonna to head to the venue and I received a call from Nacho and Sete that they were going to go to breakfast, that they were also at Aladoro, and if I wanted to join them to hang out before the tournament. Of course, I said yes. Also, Irene was woke up and came to breakfast with us, and also Danny and Frank were at Aladoro and went to take breakfast all together. So we took a very long table and we were hanging out and talking about everything and nothing all at once for a while up to when we were to the venue. Once we headed to the venue, I really fast sneaked into the Ken Mayer Jr. stand because there was a Ken Mayer Jr. stand in order to get, as I said before, card signed and watch for all the amazing playmats, amazing pieces of art that he had at the stand. But luckily for me, I was smart and I did not brought really a high quantity of euros, so I get my cards signed and nothing more because I could have returned to Spain with lots of pieces of art and playmats, and this could have been really dangerous for my relationship because I already have one room full of magic cards and memorabilia. I am already conquering the second room of the flat with cards and memorabilia, and I think that if I continue that way, it's gonna soon be a problem for me to be living here, and I may end up living with my parents and having my flat as a only for my wife and for my cards. What I did, in fact, was to buy some tokens from Floranda Zanetti. Sorry, I didn't recall her name properly, but it was Floranda Zanetti, a alterator that was also at the venue and had a very, very gorgeous tokens of goblins, zombies, cats, and many others. So I proceed to buy all the ones that I liked and also proceed to watch Cockjalters and his amazing work and watch what Arcana Trieste, the official vendor of the Nationals, had to offer to us. And all of a sudden, there was 10 a.m. and we were called to begin the tournament. Today, as an special issue, and all the people that follows me on my Spanish podcast knows, I am fairly bad at taking notes during tournaments, so when I do a report, that's a really mess. Today is gonna also be a mess, but with notes. Yeah. We were 188 players, really amazing for a tournament with a really, really good vibe. There were lots of beers, lots of amazing people hanging out, lots of people wanting to win, but realizing that winning is not the most important part of the thing. The gathering is what it is. The gathering is why we are all here. Being a charity cause really helps. In that case, in order to fight against type 1 diabetes, and all the things made that tournament feeling as something really, really, really special. And we began the first round playing against Giovanni. I am on the play, I don't know what I'm facing, and we both take a mulligan to 6. And I see that I begin going down to 18 lives, so I assume he begins with a jackal pup because he is on a slide. And you may think, yeah, he's on a slide, but what were you playing? And I'm glad that you make that question. I was playing Pan the Plenish. Yeah, I am a dissident, I am a complete outsider, and now that Parallax Tide is banned, I wanted to play a deck that was at his prime when Parallax Wave was legal. Pan the Plenish is a revision of the Replenish deck we used to see when Tide was legal, but basically there are some minor changes more, but basically changing the Parallax Tide for Pandemoniums. With Pandemoniums, we get to have a good combo finish, because if we resolve a replenish and we have in our bin Opa, Wave, and Pandemonium, we can win almost on the spot. That's not really instant. We have to get triggers, and our opponent has the time to respond, but we have not to pass turn. We have not to wait 1-2 turns attacking with our creatures, enchantment creatures, but instead we get to win, and also get to win through corner cases like a ensnaring bridge, for example, or lots and lots of blockers that would not be relevant either way if we have the wave, but we get to circumvent that. That's the deck that I was playing. That list is not mine. That list was for Maxi Arguello. That I saw on Twitter that he was playing it the week before the Tide banning, and I completely fell in love with the list, and also was a list that suited me really well to play a tournament like this. That was gonna be a long tournament, 7 rounds of Swiss, with a really small lunch break, less than an hour, more than 45 minutes approx, and I wanted a deck that was not really brain consuming. I wanted not to play something like Landstill, of course. I don't tend to do it anymore, at least in paper and in real life, because there are so much hours of continuous stress for the brain, and also the vast majority of tournaments that I play are also organized by me, and adding the stress of playing a hard control, long round times control deck, and also being organizing, taking care, tracking results, taking care of the camera for the videos, and so on. It's something that I'm not able to do it. I am a little multitasking, but not so much and not so well. So today I wanted also to play a combo deck, a fast combo deck, and I wanted not to play the border. So that was my option. So we are gonna return now to round one. As I said before, facing Giovanni, both with mulligan to 6 and playing slide. The first game is really fast because in the first game you need your slide opponent to have a non really fast hand, and also you are in a hurry if your lands contains ancient tombs or a darker wastes. His hand was fast, my hand contained ancient tomb, my hand contained a darker wastes, so it was the perfect combo to go as fast as turn 4 to the sideboard. The sideboard plan for that matchup was really easy, and it was to side in 3 chill and 3 hydroblast slash blue elemental blast. That's it. The plan for the second and third games are fairly easy. Is trying to counter his first creature either by hydroblast or swords to plowshares and land the first chill as soon as you can in order to get time to find your pieces and combo him off. It sounds really great in theory, but it didn't work. I also mulliganed to 6. My hand was really medium, but it had a swords and a hydroblast, so I could handle his first creatures and go from there. Returns that he only played one creature, and it was a Mock Fanatic, and the rest of the spells were all burn spells, and I don't know how is it said in English, the 3 CMC enchantment, Sulfuric Vortex, and I end up losing that round 2-0 really fast. That was not the best beginning for the tournament, but that was one that I could handle. We are here for the gathering, we are not here to winning. As I always say, we all always want to win. That's a game. We love winning. But we do not love winning at any cost. That's another different topic that we can talk. I have faced it many times in my Spanish version of the podcast, but if you wanna listen to me and my bad English talking about that in English, please let me know. Round 2, I'm playing against Alessio. And just before we cut each other deck to begin to play, Ale came here and said that we were gonna be on stream. We both were surprised because we were on the losers bracket. Usually the streams tend to showcase decks that are doing it well, but well, if they want us to be in coverage, we are going to be in coverage. So the round is in coverage, and you can go check it out on the Chaos Orc Fest Twitch. But here is the fast recap. First game, we both take mulligan to 5. I'm on the draw. He plays Birds of Paradise on her first turn, and I firmly believe that if I can, I have always bought the bird. In that case, Swords the bird. And on turn 2, he played a Sylvan Library, and he did not draw any extra card from him. I think he was worried about, don't know why, because he was saying I was blue-white, I was not putting pressure on him, but he always used his Sylvan Library as a mirror's guide to rearrange his top and not to draw extra cards. So it gave me enough time to go finding pieces, go finding a attunement to throw pieces to the graveyard and that replenish to bring back Pandemonium, Nopalescence, and the Parallax Wave, and proceeding to win. In that spot, before sideboarding, I had only seen from Alessio's part of the table Forest, Sylvan Library, mana dorks such as more Birds of Paradise and Walls of Roots, and on his last or second to last turns, he gave me a hint of what he could have been playing. He played a land that was not a forest. He played a Karplusan forest, which technically is a forest, but not the basic one. So I thought he can be on sneak attack, because also Sete told me that he had faced sneak attack on first round and that there was at least one sneak attack on the tournament. And all the cards I had seen from him on the first game were compatible with that sneak attack deck. So it could be sneak attack, it could not be sneak attack, but thinking about that it was a sneak attack, I decided in nothing more than Orim's Chance, and then decided to not side in Orim's Chance and play the second game just like the first one, with the plan of destroying his first mana dork and trying to kill his first draw or card advantage enchantment, being it Sylvan, being it survival. I did not saw survival in first game, but I was really sure that in a deck with lots of creatures and lots of forest, there must be a survival of the fittest hidden anywhere. And turns out that that was what happened. We both kept our hands. He began with a mana dork, but not a usual mana dork, but the final hint that he was playing sneak attack because he played Mountain into Orcish Lumberjack. And yeah, Orcish Lumberjack, as far as I know, is only played on sneak attack. So I proceeded to Swords to Plowshares the Orcish Lumberjack. He played on his second turn a Survival of the Fittest that I proceeded to Seal of Cleansing it, and from here his game became a lot more relaxed, slow if you prefer, and I could have time to play my Opalescence and my Parallax Wave one by one, and from here cleaning his board from enchantments and creatures and win by attacking with the wave several times. When the round ended, I was headed to the commentator's booth and finally had the pleasure to meet in person both Valerio and Gordon. I may have not realized that, but in fact they told me that we were on stream because Gordon saw my list, aka Max's list, and fell in love with it and wanted to show how it worked. I am pretty sure that that was not the best match to see how it worked, but at least he could have seen it. I had the pleasure also to make them sign me a couple more of tokens. We were chatting for 5 minutes on the stream, talking about our epic experience, our traveling experience, our everything, and he did to take a little rest before the third round. On the third round, I faced Francesco playing elves. And on the first game, I lost after we both take a mulligan to 6 because I couldn't handle his 2-3 attacks per turn with their tangle wires tapping me. And when one tangle wire was gonna leave the battlefield, entering another tangle wire, and the third tangle wire being so much to me and getting to me to the sideboard just the turn when he played the Ranged Hermit. That was much for me, and I decided to go to the side. For this special matchup, I have nothing on the sideboard, so I proceeded to play it just like the main board games, but being aware that Seal of Cleansing are more important that I knew before we began the round because I can deal with both Survival of the Fittest and the tangle wires. On the second game, Francesco did mull to 5 and I kept my 7. I swore to plowshare his first creature, a January, if I remember correctly. And from here I have no more notes that I went to 18 life, so I think I played a January Wastes and combo it off. And the third game, being on the draw and with a mulligan a 6, I also began by swording 3 of their creatures because his lives go to 21, 22, 21, that's a fetch, and 23, so I sworded to mana dorks or symbiotes or rangers, and a 2 power creature, I assume it was the Acolyte. But with not much pressure from his side, I could handle to play a wave, clean his board, play an OPA, and proceed to win from here. At that moment, after the third round, we had the little lunch break. It was really well organized because as soon as we ended the run, we could go to the lunch booth where the Capelletti were waiting for us, the lunch we asked for during the week. There were several options for vegetarians, for intolerants, the ones that can eat anything, and that was all really well prepared, well served, and well eaten. Really enjoyable, really good, and really energy supplier to face the 4 rounds of the day. In round 4, I faced Antonio, playing Enchantress. The first game, I moved to 6, and as far as I see that he's playing Enchantress, I try to hide that I am playing Replenish. I am not playing my my soul lands, I am not playing my attunements, I am not playing my frantic searches. I'm just playing a, a factor fiction, a seal of cleansing, draw go, trying to fake that I am a UI control list rather than a UI combo list. And in fact, that strategy works because in one moment Antonio plays an OPA that is not killing me, in another end attacks me for 7 or 8 points of life, and then I proceed to play my wave and cleaning his board. It gets a lot way easier to win when your opponent makes half the work for you. Slide thinks the best from me, but that's another topic. So I proceed to sideboard, and I have no sideboard because I was trying to play a sort of tranquil domain that is cleansing meditation, but I did not test it properly, and I didn't know if it could be worth it on the Enchantress matchup, so I did not have it on the sideboard that day, so I did bring nothing more than 3 orange chance to supply the swords to plowshares and nothing more. The second game and the third, to an extent, were a nightmare to be played. He had lots of seals, Hour of Silence, Tormod Script, and Pyrex and Furnace. And even though on the second game I could play around all of that in order to try to combo, I failed to find my last piece, and he played the second Tormod script that proceeded to clean up again my graveyard and led me in a very bad shape to win the game. The third game, we both mulliganed to 6 and was more or less just like the second one. Turn 2 Enchantress, turn 3 Seal of Cleansing, turn 4 Enchantress Present, turn 5 Explodes. The Enchantress turn, when you chain Serra Sanctum, you play lots of spells, you draw tons of cards, and you get the work. Not already done, but really prepared to end the game at the next turn, and that's what he did, and that's how he win. In round 5, I faced Andrea playing blue-red stacks. The first game, he mulliganed to 6 and proceeded to keep a 1 lander, and that was an error. I know the deck doesn't mulligan very well, and if you have a reasonable hand with 1 land, that was also a Rishadan port, by the way, if you draw the second one, especially if one of that 2 lands is a soul land, you can really explode. You can begin to play your mana rocks. Your mana rocks bring more mana rocks. That gets you to the point where you can play Winter Orbs, you can play Tangle Wires, you can also play Smokestacks if you need to, but nothing of that happened because he did not draw his second land, and I proceeded to win with all the time of the world. The second and the third games were literally equal. I did not see for the second game that he was playing the blue-red version, so I did sideboard nothing in because I had nothing to the mono brown version. and he proceeded to begin with turn 1 Shivan Reef Welder. So, oops, that's a little different. But from here, he proceeded to be playing tangle wires that could be changed with the welder to be not affected to him. Also, a winter orb that let me do nothing for the rest of the game. And in the third game was just equal, but with me mulligan to 5. So getting only one seal of cleansing to try to respond his first winter orb, and hoping for him to have not the welder, but he already had it, so he could control all of my turns in a very moody way, just waiting for Karn to come and seal the deal. After that 5 round, I am with a 2-3 record. Not really amazing or special, but having the time of my life, being surrounded by lots of amazing people, being playing against really nice and amazing people, sharing time with amazing people. Sorry for being so repetitive, but it's really the truth. I was having the time of my life. Also, my wife was having a really good time because he headed to Ravenna to spend the day being an alone tourist, watching the Adriatic Sea, watching the churches, watching the Dante Alighieri. I don't know if it's the Born Place or the Dead Place, but watching things related, monuments related to Dante Alighieri, churches, and so on. And we head to round 6 playing against Marco. Again, on the blind, I keep a hand of 6 that has Ancient Tomb, a Dark Argüestes, and hoping for not be facing Slide. I began with the Dark Argüestes, and he proceeds to play a Bloodstanded Mire, crack it, set for a mountain, and playing a Jackal Pup. So I'm screwed up. That round is gonna last for really a little time, and especially the first game is gonna be really fast. I see that I came to 12, 10, 8, dead, so I assume by turn 4 I am really done with the first game. The set plan comes exactly just like the one I thought for the first round, but turns out that this time it worked really well. On the second game, I keep, he also keeps, he takes 2 damage from the fetches, I do take damage from a Dark Wastes, but I proceed to Hydroblast his first creature. I think that time it was a Grim Lavamancer, and then going to losing lives one by one, 19, 18, 17, so no Ancient Tomb, but there was a chill in turn 2 that gave me the time to assemble the combo and win with the combo. The third game, he mulliganed to 6, and it came more or less the same, but instead of Hydroblasting his first creature, I sworded a Jackal Pup. And from here, I did not combo it off, as I see, at least not with the Pandemonium Wave, because his lives goes from 22 to 14, so I attacked for 8. I assume there were two waves, from 14 to 3, and from 3 to death. So, at least in that round, the plan went as I expected. And now I'm facing the 7th round, thinking that if I am lucky enough, I could end up with a positive record. But Magic the Gathering had another plans to me. I was facing Sebastiano with Moneyball Black. And Moneyball Black doesn't seem to be a good matchup as far as he has a lot of discard. He has Withered Wretch to break my combo kill, and he has reasonable good pressure to don't make me make my plans and go killing him slowly by playing my threads as I am drawing them. Now for the Lux functions, I see that I swords a withered wedge from him, but he continues to strip my hand apart. I cannot operate with attunements. I cannot operate with frantic search because I have no card in hand. In both of the games, it has not really a good story to tell, that matchup, during the games. And I end up losing 2-0 in a really fast way. Just to realize as soon as we end that Sebastiano was the actual Spanish champion. I didn't know it because I couldn't attend to Swances, but he was the one Italian guy playing Moneyball that won the Spanish nationals. So I also lost the opportunity to at least claim for vendetta on my country and try to win the Spanish champion on his country. And then becoming the really great Avenger that I am not. He's in fact a really good person, a really good player. We were hanging around and chatting for a while. He saw my notepad that is personalized with a survival of the fittest art made by CC Personalizaciones. If you have seen them on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not seen her on Instagram, please go check it out. He does lots of amazing things. He collaborates with LCOS doing patches, doing not patches, sorry, doing stickers and doing lots of things magic related. He has also another ways of business, but the one that we are here for is for the magic related. Sorry, and I am very happy with his work. Once the 7th round ended, we faced the most, at least for all but 16 players, the most funny, entertaining, and really good part of the day, the raffle. The raffle was really amazing and with lots of incredible items like up to 3 Mox Diamonds. 3 Mox Diamonds to raffle. I really like that approach of tournaments. I am, as I said before, the LCOS Premodern organizer, and we do the same. We have patches for the top 8, we have a playmat for the winner, but all the cards are given by raffle. We take all the tables and one person of the table wins one item of the raffle. Also, another thing that I have not commented up to now is that at the beginning of the tournament we were told to not ID. There was not able to ID. And as an organizer of a tournament that also doesn't allows IDs, I couldn't be more happy of seeing that a really great, good, and big tournament like this also does that. We are here for the gathering, we are here to play in Magic, so If we all agree that we are gonna play 7 magic rounds and the cut to top 16, we are playing 7 Swiss rounds and a cut to the top 16. All of us. If you cannot play because you are feeling ill, you are feeling bad, you are whatever, you can drop at any moment. But if you are here to play, we are here to play. And also, talking about the raffle, I won an item. I won a pack mountain uh, drawn by Rebecca White, and it's now on my collection of memorabilia from the tournaments. Then we proceeded to do the really important announcements. In no particular order. One of the announcements was the top 16, and during that announcement I couldn't be more happy for 2 of the 16 people that made it, that were Frank, with an impressive 7-0 with his Cradle Control list, a beast. A beast playing that deck, a beast playing in general, a really, really enjoyable and good person, and really happy for him to make it to the top 16, and also really, really, really happy to see that Nacho Barrachina, which I think that now at February 2026 is the in real life Spanish player that plays the best. He does not play webcam, he does not play Magic Online, he only plays in real life, but he really plays tight, perfectly, and very, very, very good. And I was really happy for him. I do know that most people will not believe what I'm gonna say, but that's how I felt. I was almost as happy for him to make the top 16 as if I was the one that top 16 it. You can believe it or not, but I know that this is true. And the other really good announcement was the MVP winner. For all of you that do not know what MVP stands for, is the most borracho, drunk player. That's a Tecnoliga thing. That's a prize that the Tecnoliga gives at every single tournament that they attend. And I think that it's very self-explanatory. It's given to the person that is more drunk than the others, and that's a very particular condition that you have not to break your engine. You cannot throw up, you cannot lose your senses, you cannot get hit by an ambulance and brought to the hospital. And yes, we have seen that happen, so that's what I told it. I have seen how a MVP contestant loses his points, to say it on a fair way, to win the contest because he had an alcoholic intoxication. I am by any means trying to make an apology of the drunk people. I am a firm believer of drink responsibly. In fact, I am a not alcohol drinker due to medication, but that's another thing. But I do understand that that's a part of the tournament, that's a part that people enjoy on the tournament, and with responsibility, I find it really part of the day. So, an Italian guy that we nicknamed it as Jesus Christ because he was long-haired, little bird, brown-faced, turning water into wine since 8:30 a.m. So I think Jesus Christ was the perfect need for him. He won the MVP award and also the Por National 2026 invitation. Por National is an invitational tournament that is handed by Sete Bandres in Valencia. And we also say in Spain that if you are not invited, you are doing something wrong. So Jesus Christ is gonna be on Por National 2026. After that, I left the venue and went with my wife to have dinner because I was a little exhausted, and even if I wanted to see the top 16, let's gonna not forget that this was a couple travel, so the priorities were being with my travel as far as I was not playing. So I went to the hotel to be with her, and we wanted to go to eat somewhere outside the hotel, but everything at Lugo was already booked. We tried to a couple of three of places that were all really full, so we decided to eat again at the hotel. Not a drama, because the because it was really good meal in which I had a simple pasta plate that had only pasta with cheese, olive, and some species, and burro, and not remember what else. But that was one of the best pasta plates I have eaten in my life. At the ragu level, really. And I'm a really meat lover. And saying that something that brought 0% of meat was at the level of something that brought a lot of meat is something to say. And then I connected to the stream to watch it a little bit to see how was it going, only to realize that Nacho lost at the top 4 suddenly against a zombie infestation deck, and watching Frank crushing the tournament with an 11-0 record. He crushed the day. He was the Italian reigning champion after the long battle day. Really impressive because Credit Control is a not really stock list, is not a tier deck. Let's gonna face it, but he plays it really, really, really well. He plays it really, really, really tight, and he plays it as he plays everything with a surgical precision that led him to win the Chaos Orc Fest, maintaining a south of Europe at least tradition began in Swansea 2025 that any national tournament must be won by someone that is not from that country. Let's gonna see if 2026 continues that trend or if we can change it at Cáceres or at any other national tournaments but from now that's what is happening in South Europe right now. The nationals are gonna be won by someone that is not from that country. Also, in order to end with the magic things, Frank was not happy with winning the Premodern Nationals, so on Sunday he took an ad hoc list to play the old school tournament that was held on Sunday and proceeded to top 4 it. being on a final record of 18-1, if I can remember properly, demonstrating that he is a machine. He's a machine playing, he's a machine being a nice person, he's a machine recovering from the flu. He That was his one of his weekends. On my part, on Sunday, we really wake up also at 7 a.m., but this time both of us, not only me, also Irene, because we had to take breakfast really early in order to can go to the train station to take planes and trains to arrive home and conclude that amazing Italian weekend that was the Chaosorg Fest. Now, before finishing the podcast, I would like to thank to every single person involved in the organization of the tournament. Valerio, Jamma, Ale, all the other persons that I don't know personally, but all the players, especially the Tecnoliga from Valencia, that let me be a part of the Tecnoliga for the weekend, being with them all the weekend and being an amazing person as they are. I wanna thank all, really, 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 all the people that make Premodern the format that it is right now, where we can hang out almost 200 people. Well, I think we arrived to 200 people, taking care that there was also organizers that were not playing, the coverage staff, etc, etc, etc. 200 persons in one venue having a really special day without nothing really remarkably bad to say. Only good games, only good persons, only Premodern. And as I say in Spain and in Spanish, esto es Premodern. This is Premodern. The place where you can be safe, being yourself, playing the cards that you like, and know every day you play one or more new amazing persons. If you have arrived up to here, I wanna thank you for listening to me and my really bad English for all that time, and hoping to see you soon. Go, go, go!